Good day, and thank you for tuning in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. For all of our new listeners and viewers who are tuning in for the very first time, I'm Pastor Pope, and thank you for allowing us to come into your listening and viewing environment. We are here with you in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, broadcasting live from the FijiWater.com sponsored studio, where you can discuss careers, finances, entrepreneurship. You can discuss marriage, divorce, raising children, blending families. You can discuss dating and relationships, whatever's in your heart, whatever's on your mind. God is concerned about that which concerns you. And that is the reason that we are here with you in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, which is brought to you daily by Fiji Water, Earth's finest water. You may already know that Fiji water comes from Fiji. However, did you know that it is created by nature? It is untouched by man. It starts as a tropical rainfall which slowly filters through layers of volcanic rock, where the water collects in a natural, sustainable artesian aquifer, where it is bottled right at the source, free from human contact until you unscrew the blue cap. Fiji Water, Earth's finest water, will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery, and you'll save money at FijiWater.com. This is not just ordinary water. This is Earth's finest water at FijiWater.com. And for those of you that continue to support the broadcast by giving on the contribution pages of our websites at New Life Ministries International.com and New Life International CDC.com, and those of you that use the QR code or the link provided on Facebook and YouTube, and those of you that are now using Zelle on the T-Mobile caller text line at 267-992-1424, we thank all of you for your support and for your commitment as we fulfill our commitment to God to be here for you in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. And as always, we are delighted and excited to have with us our monthly contributor, Rebecca Buva, licensed and registered dietitian and nutritionist, BeccaTheDietitian.com. Becca, I hope that you can hear me. We were having a little bit of technical difficulty, I believe, but if you can hear me,
I can hear you just fine.
All right, then I think we weren't having technical difficulty. And for all of you that are tuned in with us, wherever you are across the U.S. and wherever you are around the globe, I know that we are excited to have Becca with us today because all of you have shared that with me, that you were looking forward to her coming on, because I've had scheduling conflicts. Becca's been standing by and waiting to be with us. So Becca, as always, we're excited to have you with us. Thanks for tuning in today.
Thank you so much.
And I'm going to turn it over to Becca to share with us everything that's going to enhance our health and wellness. So Becca, it's all up to you.
All right, awesome. Well, I'm so excited to be back as always. A few different topics this month. There was 3 that I just couldn't choose between, so I figured I would incorporate all 3 into one and try and tie them together. And all have to do with the month of June. So June is not only Men's Health Month, it's also Brain and Alzheimer's Awareness Month, and it's Pride Month. So I wanted to just talk a little bit about all 3 of those things because believe it or not, nutrition has an impact on all 3. So I'll just give a quick little rundown of 1 or 2, health things to keep in mind related to each one of those. So for men's health, of course, nutrition matters for men. That's a pretty easy one. A big part of men's health for nutrition, though, is vegetables. So, vegetables, of course, they provide fiber, vitamins, minerals, phytonutrients, and all those different micronutrients and macronutrients can play really important roles in helping men to stay healthy throughout their life, whether it be whenever you're young and you're growing, or when you're older, or even if you are trying to have a baby with your wife. Obviously there are 2 aspects of that. There's the woman's part that it was, most people think of that more so, but the men also plays a very important role in that process. And nutrition can really help set you up for success when it comes to that. But wherever you're at in your life, vegetables and fruits, but for today, we're just going to focus on veggies, are very important to promote health throughout the life cycle. So few things to keep in mind with veggies for men is just making sure we're eating a variety. So getting your dark greens, your reds and oranges, but also not forgetting about things like beans and peas, and even your starchy vegetables are important. So making sure we're getting a variety of the types of vegetables that we're eating. We also want to remember not to overcook our veggies. So, we can eat vegetables cooked or raw, but it's just important to remember not to overcook them. So some of the vitamins and minerals found in vegetables can actually be destroyed whenever we cook with too high heat, or too long of a cooking time. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. And then if you're cooking them in water, you can certainly be losing those nutrients in cooking water if you're not eating that cooking water afterwards and if you're just dumping it out. So for that reason alone, it's good to not only eat a variety of types of vegetables, but also eat them in a variety of different preparations. So sometimes you can have them raw, sometimes have them cooked. Just try and change it up, but do keep in mind that high heat, long cooking time, and cooking water can also destroy the nutrients that you're getting from those. And then finally, just making sure that you're meeting the requirements every day as a man. So men really should be aiming for 2.5 to 4 cups of vegetables per day. So, check in with yourself. Am I eating 2.5 to 4 cups of veggies a day? I don't know. Maybe it's something I need to work on. Just make sure you're striving for that goal, or at least striving for that as an end goal if you're pretty far off from that right now. All right, second topic for the month, Alzheimer's and brain awareness in the month of June as well. So there's, I think we all probably have someone in our lives that we know of that has either suffered from Alzheimer's or another form of dementia. But in the grand scheme of things, there's 55 million people living worldwide, with either Alzheimer's or another form of dementia. So it is a lot of people. I know there's a few billion people in the world, but so 55 million in the grand scheme of things doesn't seem like a lot, but it is, because if you know someone and you are pretty confident that most people that know someone, that's affecting a lot of people. And the good news with nutrition is that it can help reduce your risk of developing different forms of dementia. So it can't necessarily completely prevent it, but it can play a big role in helping to reduce your risk of developing those different things. And the 3 important nutrients I want to call out for brain health would be DHA, which is an omega-3 fatty acid, antioxidants, just kind of like an umbrella term, but I'll get into that in a second. And then lastly is vitamin D. So those are the 3 big ones when it comes to brain health. DHA, you're going to find that in a lot of seafood sources. So salmon, tuna, mackerel, trout, herring. We want to try and get 8 ounces a week of some form of seafood, ideally from sources that are lower in mercury. If you're not a seafood fan, that's okay. There are other foods that contain ALA, alpha-linolenic acid, which converts to DHA in the body. And those would be ground flax seeds, walnuts, chia seeds, algae. That was a big trend a few years ago. That's a good source of ALA, which converts to DHA. So those are good things to eat. Now, antioxidants. So this is, like I mentioned, it's an umbrella term. There's a lot of different nutrients that fall under that, like vitamin C, vitamin E, selenium, lycopene is a word that we heard a lot a few years ago, and different phytonutrients also fall under that. So some good foods to shoot for would be cruciferous vegetables, so like broccoli, cabbage, your dark leafy greens, and then also your berries, so blackberries, blueberries, cherries, those really dark red and purple and blue colored fruits are going to have a lot of antioxidants in them. And then for vitamin D, fatty fish and what's that? Can you hear me
I thought you
okay?
were going to include dark chocolate in that.
Well, we can throw it in there. It's not a vegetable, but we can definitely include that as an antioxidant-rich food. So, but vitamin D is fatty fish, and then your fortified orange juices and fortified milks are going to have that. And of course, the sunshine, now that it's summer, I'll add that in as well.
Yes.
All right, third and final item for the month of June is that it's Pride Month. So I believe over 7% of people in the United States identify as LGBT QIA plus. And a lot of people that identify as part of this community, they do have different chronic diseases and illnesses, but they are afraid to seek care for fear of just not what's the word I'm looking for fear of oh gosh, I'm so sorry, I'm blanking on this word, but
Okay.
just
Good.
judgment, not being treated equally as others. But dietitians, there are dietitians out there that actually specialize in working with this population, just as with any medical field. So if you identify as part of the LGBT community, I highly encourage you to seek a dietitian who does specialize in that area so that you can feel more comfortable. And in honor of Pride Month, this is how I'm going to tie it into all the other topics. We want to eat the rainbow. So I mentioned before we want to eat a variety of fruits, a variety of vegetables, and part of that variety, not just food group, not just cooking method, but is the color of what we're eating. So we want to eat all the different colors of the rainbow: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, white, violet, all the different colors. We want to make sure we're consuming because all those different colors represent different nutrients and play a very important role in our body. So yes, so lots going on in June this month, but remember to eat your colors.
Okay, so Becca, I have to go here because you really hit some points that I need to pick up on. I'm
It
really
was a lot
hoping
of
that
information.
no, this is absolutely why it's so important for everyone to really pay attention to what you're sharing with us every month, because here's the reality. So I am aware of this, but you pointed this out, and men, we need to be, I'm always encouraging men to go get their annual physicals, exercise. We don't always eat right, but I'm not a big veggie guy, but there are certain vegetables that I do like, so I eat them consistently. But Becca, you made some very good points, and I do want to ask a couple of questions, if I may, also. And I'm being a little selfish, but this is going to help everyone. How do you feel about Becca's, not that she needs me to confirm this, but she's absolutely correct. Our diet has an impact on men's fertility.
Mhm.
So we have to be conscious about that. I mean, I'm done. We're not, but we still have to be conscious about that because it's part of our health and wellness. So, Becca, how do you feel about men taking supplements if they're not getting enough? Because I know, like for myself, I take, vitamin E every day. I take vitamin D every day faithfully. Um, I do like B12, but I have to, be I have to be I have to monitor how much B12 I consume because it sometimes gives me too much energy. So, and I don't, and it'll disrupt my sleep pattern. So
Mhm.
we've got to be conscious and intentional about all of these things. But so can you tell, and I know we're getting a lot of vitamin D right now because in our region it's summer and we're loving the summer and getting out to run, and I can see Becca got some sunshine, and so we're all trying to get the natural sunshine, but I still take vitamin D every day. What are your thoughts on supplements for men?
Yeah, so I mean, there's two different types of vitamins and minerals. There's water soluble and there's fat soluble. The water soluble vitamins, there's very little risk of ever overdoing it on them because, we excrete the excess in our
Yeah.
sweat, in our urine. So there's not a huge risk of overdoing it on those, if you will. Now the fat soluble vitamins, those are stored in our fat stores, so that would be vitamins A, D, E, and K. Those you do have to be careful not to eat too much of. And then certain things like iron, if you take too much iron, there's going to be some not nice stomach side effects, but for the most part, as long as you're not taking like more than one dose a day, you're going to be okay. And it's more so just like an insurance policy to make sure you're getting enough of all the different things that you need. So, that first disclaimer, watch out for the fat soluble vitamins, watch out for iron, for potential toxicity and side effects. But the other ones, it's probably going to be totally fine. If anything, it might be a waste of money, but it's also nice to know that you have that insurance policy just
Yeah.
in case you didn't get enough, you're getting a little extra from that vitamin supplement too.
Excellent. So we need to make sure we're getting our vegetables. And Becca continues to encourage us to do this. And I do like beans, so I'll eat beans. And broccoli, spinach. I do like salad, but in that I pick my moments. But the reason I'm asking these questions is because I know as men, we tend to do less about our health and wellness than women do. And so I think for all of the men out there, we've got to be, it's June. We got to be really conscious about what we do for the remainder of this year. We want to finish
We're
the year
almost halfway
strong.
through the year now.
Yes. So let's finish it strong. Becca's going to be with us every month, just making certain, bringing up our level of awareness and making us do the right thing, even when we don't choose to, because it's a choice. Health and wellness is a choice. Now, there are some things we don't have any control over, but believe it or not, when it comes to health and wellness, it's very few, because some things we can avert them by just doing the right thing, right? I know that sounds very simple because Becca does all the technical aspects of this, but the reality is the medical aspects of it. But all of this information she's giving us so I got a takeaway. I love salmon. I heard you mention salmon and tuna. I do like tuna also. So, and you said did you say 8 ounces?
8 ounces
Once
a week. Yep. So
I was
that's
about to
two
say
4-ounce servings.
Okay, I was about to say 7, but I thought you did say 8, so that's why I said 8. So that's just one meal a week. If it's not your favorite thing, just do it 1 meal a week. And since you mentioned salmon and tuna, make it twice a week. Just, do tuna once and do salmon once, and just take advantage of the information that Becca is sharing with us. You have no idea, Becca, how excited our listeners and viewers are about you and how much, I love you anyway. You're extended family, but the reality is that we are really trying to take this information that Becca gives us and really apply it to our health and wellness so that we can benefit from this. We can have longer life. So you also mentioned Alzheimer's, dementia. This is Becca gave us the statistics, and when you think about it worldwide, it might not sound like a big number, but now put that in dollars and cents. Would you consider 55 million to be a big number? $55 million to be a big number? Well, health is wealth. So let's focus on how we can address that issue also. So Becca gave us some good information. So Becca, if you were going to, I always say you're the picture of health. So if you were going to tell our listeners and viewers what we should do starting now, but let's shoot for Monday, July 1st. Okay,
Sounds good.
Let's just say we're gonna finish this second half of the year strong. We're gonna really, from July to December, we're really gonna make this a commitment. What would be the first steps you would tell our listeners and viewers to take to really enhance our health and wellness from a diet perspective and a nutritionist perspective and an exercise perspective, because I happen to know that you're the fitness queen also. So
Oh gosh, if we had to choose just one thing. Well, I would say, I just listed out, let's see. We talked about
give us 3. Let's do better than 1. Let's give us 3 to focus on.
I'm going to say, instead of me choosing for you, I'm going to say of these 5 different things I talked about. Okay. So getting enough vegetables, making sure that we're getting the DHA or the ALA, which converts to DHA, omega-3 in our diets, the antioxidants, the vitamin D, or I guess the last one was also vegetable related. So it was really 4 things. So of those 4 things, if you could just pick one of those that sounds the most like it would be the easiest for you to incorporate in your diet if you're not already doing it. So whatever one of those things, if you're not doing it, what's the easiest for you to implement in your diet? That's going to be the best thing to do. So it's hard to say this one thing is going to work for everybody just because everybody is so different. So I would say, pick one of those 4 things that you're not doing and add that in, whichever sounds the best to you, or, whoever's out there listening. If it's making sure that you're going to start having a glass of orange fortified orange juice every day, or vitamin D fortified orange juice every day to get your vitamin D intake up. Or if it's going to be that you start adding blueberries to your breakfast every day, or you're going to start having a piece of salmon once a week, or you're going to make sure you're getting at least 2.5 cups of vegetables a day. Whatever one speaks to you, that's what I want you to do, because any improvement is better than no improvement.
So I will say this, and I might have said this on a previous broadcast, but I have taken information that Becca has given us and made changes in my lifestyle. And those changes since July of last year have resulted in me losing 20 pounds. Well, it's actually a little more than 20 pounds, it's about 23 pounds. And it's because of this information that we're getting. And I'm just hosting with Becca and using the information myself. So if you're willing to put in the work, because everything's work. Let's not, there's no magic fix, right? We have to take necessary steps. And what's really crazy about, and my wife says this to me all the time, she says, you're still eating. It's not like I'm starving myself. It's not like I'm doing, I'm going 3 days without food to get to lose weight. It was just making habit changes that Becca has shared with us. And if you do that, if you take this information, apply it to our daily lives, it can't be a one-off. You can't do it Monday and say, okay, I'm going to go back to all the things I've been doing the rest of the week, every week. I mean, I joked about, having meatless Mondays, just making changes, not being able to not be a vegetarian my entire life, but maybe being a vegetarian 2 days a week, and maybe doing what I enjoy doing the rest of the week. Today, I'm having fettuccine Alfredo with chicken and broccoli for lunch today.
That sounds delicious.
So, but the reason I'm having broccoli added to it is because Becca encourages, make sure you're getting your vegetables in. So we just got to make the commitment to do what we know is going to enhance our health and wellness. And I know I kind of took over here for a moment, Becca, because it's so important what you're teaching us. And we're so thankful that you're willing to share this information, because Becca has a client base and she takes her time every month to come and be with us and do this. And we all need to enhance our lifestyle. So Becca, before you continue, I want to just remind us all to say thank you to you, because I know it works. I have heard from other people who are saying it's working, but
That's great.
We all want this to work for us. We all have to make the commitment to really improve our health and wellness, because again, health is wealth, and we have to recognize if we're not spending our money on good eating habits and maybe some vitamin supplements, we're going to spend money going to the doctors or going into the hospital for healthcare. So we've got to renew our minds. How about that? Okay.
And I think a big part of it too is just a little bit of a mindset shift. So many people that I have met with in the past, when they come to me or come to my dietitian colleagues, they're like, oh, you're going to tell me I can't do this, this, and this, and those are all my favorite things. And they're very, maybe they're there because their spouse is making them come, or their doctor told them they had to come. But we don't need to think about nutrition and diet and lifestyle as taking something away. We should think about it as adding something. So if you can, even if you just add something good and you still are having those things that maybe aren't great, we first focus on adding something good, and then slowly you're going to find that you're adding more good things, and maybe some of those less great things are just going to naturally kind of fall by the wayside. Not that you can't have them ever, but we want to just get to the point where we're doing more of those good things on a regular basis so that they're taking up more room in our stomachs. So there's, those less desirable things are still there, but in smaller quantities over time. And that's when, the time and making sure we're being very deliberate, but also careful about how quickly we implement these changes is what's going to help us be, make it a long-term change rather than just a short-term change.
Well, Becca, you made an excellent point also. It's not about taking away. I will tell you this. I don't ever remember Becca coming on the broadcast and saying to us, you can't have this. What she's always done is told us what we can add to enhance our health and wellness. And as she said, when you do things differently, the things that you were doing that weren't good for us, they do tend to drop off. Now, I have to confess, and this is not an advertisement for the Cheesecake Factory because they're not one of our sponsors, but my wife stopped at the Cheesecake Factory yesterday and got me a Reese's Cup cheesecake.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Yes, it was delicious. I ate it, and I have no guilt about that.
It's perfect.
But my point is, I'm not going to do that every day like once upon a time I might have. But the reality is that you may not have the taste for certain things that you once had a taste for when you replace them with something else that's better for us.
Right.
It's about better habits. It's about, and then your body will start to crave the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like Becca and I are both runners. And I know when I don't run, I crave getting out and running. My body craves
the same way.
And so it's just about doing the right things, being intentional about the right things that are going to have an impact on our health and wellness. And when I heard Becca say that, I immediately flashed back and I said, she's never said, don't do this. She always says, if you do this, it will improve and enhance our health and wellness. So as I said, the things that and I'm taking up a lot of Becca's time today, but just doing the things you've recommended, I've been able to make some changes without starving myself, without not eating. You tell someone you lost 23 pounds and they go, well, what did you stop doing? And I'm like, no, it's not that I deliberately stopped doing anything. It's that because of the mind shift, you start eating differently, you exercise a little differently, you do the things that are really going to have an impact, and eating fruits and vegetables and making those changes in our daily dietary routine, it really has an impact. And so, I had to laugh about it because my wife was like, you haven't stopped doing anything. You don't do as much of it. I don't go to Brewster's as often. Well, although I don't eat ice cream, I love their frozen yogurt.
Ooh, yeah.
Because ice cream just makes me gain weight when I look at it. I love ice cream, but I don't eat it. And so what do I do instead of that? When I want something really like that, I might eat some fresh pineapple, which is very sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Also fruit. And it has better benefits than some other things that we might indulge in, like
absolutely, yeah.
Like ice cream, for example. As much as I love it, I can't eat it. And so I say that to everyone, and I'm really stressing this today because Becca has been such a blessing to us all. And for those of you, shout out to those of you that have told me, communicated and said, you've really been committed to making the changes, and you've seen the improvements and you've seen the changes like I have seen. We're all so thankful. So we're going to continue, as Becca's going to be with us back. And I know my schedule conflicts have caused Becca to come in the last part of this month, but Becca will be back with us, scheduling permitted, at the beginning of the month for some more information. We're going to finish this year strong. We're going to all make certain that by the end of this year, we're in a better place in our health and wellness. We'll know our numbers. And the reason we'll know is because we'll go and get our annual physicals and we'll make certain that we know our numbers. And we're going to shout you out at the end of the year on the progress that we've made. So Becca, is there anything else before we go off the air that you want to share with our listeners and viewers?
Yes, so it is really hot out there today. So I just want to make sure everybody is staying hydrated, drinking water, drinking foods with a high water content like fruits and vegetables, and of course, Fiji water. And just definitely keep in mind if you take certain medications like for your blood pressure, if you're on chemotherapy, or certain anxiety and depression medications, you have to be extra careful because sometimes they can make you need even more water. So make sure you're staying hydrated.
So we want to make certain that everyone's too blessed to be stressed. And we thank Becca for coming and being with us today. We want to make certain that we all enhance our health and wellness. So let's finish this year strong. Becca will be back with us in July. So just so you all know, you don't want to miss this. Tell your family, friends, coworkers, and colleagues. Becca, the dietitian, is with us, and we're with you